Hello students, welcome to this session. So first and foremost, most of the students they ask us what to study and what not to study. So guys, you have 1 or 2 years left for your preparation and you have to be very focused and you need to study objectively. You're not here to do PhD, you're not here to do any kind of research. When you prepare for competitive examinations like NEET or JEE, your objective has to be bullseye. So what to study and what not to study, both are equally important. So for example, students ask me what kind of books, what books should we follow? So my suggestion to student is first thing first that you must follow your module. Whichever module you have, you must follow that module. Module of every institute, every good institute in India, they almost update the module every year or at least every alternate year. So fresh questions, depending upon the latest trend, depending upon the latest types of question that has come in competitive exams, they keep on modifying their module. On the contrary, your books, they are not updated that frequently. Of course, when you buy a book, you might be seeing a reprinted edition, a new edition. But technically, if you see, the addition of new questions is pretty less. Apart from past year questions, you will find very seldom addition of new questions. So that's the first thing, guys, what to study and what not to study. So make it absolutely clear that if you are having any module, any good institute module, experts module, follow that. These modules are updated almost every year and you will find fresh set of questions every year based on the previous year examination. So what to study and what not to study, let's be very clear about that. Apart from that, when it comes to NEET, you cannot ignore the importance of NCERT. There's no way one can dispute the importance of NCERT. Every year in NEET, we have around 16 to 20 questions which are heavily influenced by NCERT. These questions might be from theory of NCERT, from illustrations, from solved examples, or maybe from exercises. But there are 16 to 20 questions in every NEET AIPMT paper which are heavily influenced by NCERT. So there is no way you can ignore NCERT. Many of you may not like NCERT, especially for physics. Doesn't matter. Whichever book you want to follow, you follow it. But at the end of the day, NCERT fingertip should be on your tongue. You must be thorough with every question, with every important fingertip mentioned in NCERT. Because there are some questions which can be answered only if you have been thorough with NCERT. For example, let me just tell you, I think 3 years back, there was a question in NEET. What is the energy required to break DNA molecule? Now, in work part energy, this question has come. What is the energy required to break DNA molecule? Now, you please tell me, it's an experimental data. The energy comes less than electron volt. It's close to 10 to the power minus 20 joule. So until and unless you don't know the value, there's no way you can answer the question. And let's say you're a brilliant student who is targeting 180 all in physics, but if you haven't studied NCERT, there's a huge probability you may miss this question because it's a fact-based question rather than numerical solving. So NCERT has its own importance, guys. So make sure that NCERT is your priority number 2 during your preparation of NEET. Apart from that, NEET PYQ is very important. There is not a single NEET paper where 12 to 18 questions has not been asked from NEET PYQ, NEET past year questions. So we have 33 years of NEET and AIPMT papers. These 33 years questions are very important. I'm not saying they're going to pick the exact same question and give it to you in the examination. No, they won't give you the exact same question in the examination. But there's a huge chance they may give you questions which are inspired with these questions, especially in the last 15 years. So if you can't do last 33 years, at least solve last 15 years NEET and AIPMT. That will be of great help to you guys. So what to study and what not to study. So let's be very clear. Priority number 1 is your module. Whichever module you have, if you have expert module, good. Whichever good institute module you have, follow that. Priority number 2 is NCERT and priority number 3 is NEET PYQ. Now after that, if you are having time, all right, and let's say at the same time you are inclined to score 180 all in NEET in physics. I'm talking about physics, guys. There are so many students who are getting 180, 170 plus, 160 plus. We have thousands of students. So if you are inclined towards getting 180 all, you must expose yourself to certain deep critical thinking questions, deep logical thinking questions, critical thinking questions. These critical thinking questions are important, although their weightage in NEET paper is hardly 2 to 5 questions. I don't think I have seen ever a NEET paper or a AIPMT paper where we have 2 to 5 logical thinking and critical thinking question. To be very honest, that number is even more less. Deep critical thinking question, we hardly find 1 to 2 questions. So if you are targeting 180 all, you need exposure to these critical thinking questions. Now, for that, my suggestion is that for critical solving, for critical questions, for deep logical thinking questions, my suggestion is that you can solve JEE mains PYQ and last 10 years JEE advanced PYQ. Now, please listen to me very carefully. I'm talking about NEET students, and for those NEET students who are targeting 180 all. For them and only them, I am addressing that apart from module, apart from NCRT, apart from NEET PYQ, you can address some questions of JEE mains past year, or maybe even some question from JEE advanced past year. These questions are deep critical thinking questions, logical thinking questions. They will give you very good exposure to logical thinking scenario. All right, so that's what you should study. But if you're not targeting 180 all, you're looking forward at 140 or 160, it's perfectly fine. Even if you leave JEE mains PYQ or if you leave JEE advanced PYQ, it's perfectly okay. Those who are targeting 180 all, the question comes, how many JEE mains question or JEE advanced question should I solve in every module? The answer is, it's completely up to you. I don't advise students to solve more than 5 years of JEE advanced past year. Whichever years you want to solve, it's your choice, but don't solve for more than 5 years, because when it comes to NEET preparation, time is a big crisis, and therefore I don't want you to waste time, because for hardly 2 to 3 questions coming under critical thinking and logical thinking category, if you are spending a lot of time, it won't be wise, because you have to study bio and chemistry too. So keep that in mind, guys. Similarly, for students who are preparing for JEE mains, for you guys, again, you have your module, focus on your module, focus on level 2 and level 3 of your module, focus on JEE mains PYQ, focus on JEE advanced at least last 10 years PYQ, and at the same time, it would be of great help to you if you can solve HC Verma Objective 1 complete, Objective 2 complete, and last 10 to 15 questions of HC Verma exercises. If you could solve more, even better, but at least last to 10-15 questions. So your module plus JEE mains past year plus JEE advanced at least last 10 years, and HC Verma Objective 1, Objective 2, and HC Verma last 10 to 15 questions of exercises. If you are targeting JEE mains, this would be a very thorough preparation for JEE mains physics, guys. And I'm referring to physics. I'm a physics teacher, so I'm referring for physics. So this would be my suggestion to you guys. Objective 1 and Objective 2 of HCV is not difficult. It's not very much in depth, but they are fundamental. They are of utmost importance to clarify your concept. When you solve questions, you will definitely find 1 or 2 questions in Objective 1 and Objective 2, which will definitely, it's going to clarify your concept to a greater depth. All right. When you study a concept, you think my concept is clear. Only when you start solving problem, you understand that there is much more depth to that concept. So when you solve HCV Objective 1, Objective 2, and last 15 questions of HCV exercises, you will have very good exposure to critical thinking questions, which are of utmost importance, not in just JEE mains, even in JEE advanced. So what to study and what not to study, I have told you very clearly. For NEET student, priority number 1 module, priority number 2 NEET PYQ, NEET last 33 years past year questions, and NCRT. All right. Apart from that, if you are targeting 180 all, you can solve some past year questions of JEE mains and some past year questions of JEE advanced. That would be good enough. For JEE mains and JEE advanced student, you must solve your module level 2, level 3. You must solve HC Verma Objective 1, Objective 2, and last 15 questions of exercises. And along with that, you must solve JEE mains PYQ, complete JEE mains PYQ. From 2002 till 2019 offline papers, and the last 2 years we have 36 online papers, those, right? And along with that, you must solve at least last 10 years question of JEE advanced. This is exactly what we follow in our AIC classes at Expert. So this is what you should study, and this is how you can utilize your time. In less time, you can converge maximum output. Next comes weightage of P08 to P15 versus first year. Guys, the answer to this question, P08 to P15, what we mean is second PUC syllabus in physics. P stands for physics, 08 to 15 is your module for second year versus first year. So first year weightage versus second year weightage. Guys, second year weightage versus first year weightage. When it comes to JEE, we cannot say anything point blank. If anyone is telling you that second year weightage is more, first year weightage is less, no, we can't say it point blank. Overall, the weightage comes very close to 50-50%, and nobody can predict it. Sometimes it's first year weightage which is more, sometimes it's second year weightage which is more. So I will never suggest that go with weightage of first year versus second year when it comes to JEE examination. But yes, for NEET, especially in the last 10 to 12 years of NEET paper, we have definitely seen that weightage of second PUC syllabus, second year NCERT syllabus, is more than the weightage of first year NCERT syllabus. So your P8 to P15 will have slightly more weightage. And not to mention your P8 to P15 in physics, module number P8 starting from electrostatics to P15, which is the end of modern physics, is far, far simpler compared to your first year syllabus. I'm not saying your first year syllabus is it's tough. I'm not saying that, but there is deeper visualization in chapters like rotational mechanics, in chapters like work per energy, center of mass, Newton's law of friction, and SHM. So compared to the visualization standard of first year syllabus, your second year syllabus is pretty much light. So the question should not be what is the weightage of second year versus first year. The question is which is more scoring, and the answer is second year. So those who are moving from first year to second year right now, guys, even if you can be serious now, you have a great chance of getting through with your competitive examination. Because the second year portion, as I told you, is far easier than first year syllabus, especially for physics. I can say this with full confidence, and every good teacher, if you ask them who has exposure to coaching preparation, they will tell you the same thing. All right. But yes, when we talk about weightage, when it comes to NEET, P8 to P15 has slightly more weightage. And this we are saying on the basis of last 10 to 12 years of NEET papers. If you look at papers of 90s or early 2000, no, we can't say that second year has more weightage. In fact, there was a time in early 2000 or let's say late 90s when hardly in modern physics, forget about NEET, even in JEE advanced, hardly 1 to 2 questions came. In my time in the year 2016, there were, or 2006, sorry, there were only 2 questions that came from modern physics. Only 2 questions. Today we have an era where 11 to 13% questions are coming from modern physics in both NEET as well as JEE. Because now we have more and more research coming up in modern physics, and therefore modern physics weightage has come up. All right, quantum physics research is going on, and that's why the weightage of modern physics has gone up, because whatever they ask in competition has to be inclined towards the research going on in the field of physics. So this weightage keeps on changing, guys. So based on last 10 to 12 years, we can say in NEET, weightage of second year is slightly more than weightage of first year. But more than that, the question is, which is better, which is easier to score? The clear-cut answer is your second year syllabus, that's P8 to P15. From electrostatics till the end of modern physics is far, far more easier to score than first year syllabus. All right, guys, and that applies for JEE students too. Next, and the most important point, perhaps for this discussion, this is the most important point, guys. Compendium preparation, guys, this is of utmost importance. And I assure you, you start following compendium preparation right from today, and you'll see significant improvement in your result within 3 to 4 months. See, the question that comes in NEET, they are pretty easy questions. Trust me, they're pretty easy questions. But those questions will give you a nightmare under exam constraint, under time pressure, especially if the formula and tricks are not on your tongue. Your preparation has to be so good that all the formulas and tricks should be on your tongue, guys. Because you don't have time in the examination. See, JEE, when it comes to JEE, it's all about how depth you have gone in a concept. But when it comes to NEET, and even to some extent it's in JEE mains, it's all about how many tricks, how many formulas you know, and whether or not you have been exposed to use those formulas and tricks in problem solving. So if you have exposed yourself with tricks and formulas, and if you have used them in problem solving, all that you have to do is you have to remember them. Ask yourself, how many of you can recall all the tricks that you have studied maybe 2 months back? Any chapter, let's say you're right now in, let's say, rotational mechanics. So are you thorough with all the tricks and all the formula that you studied in projectile motion? I doubt. If I ask you what is the range of projectile motion on inclined plane, I doubt 99% of the students listening to this might not be able to answer it all of a sudden. You may say that, sir, I can derive it. I'm sure many of you can derive it. You may say that, sir, I have already studied this. I have solved question. That's okay, but that's not my question. My question is, can you answer what will be the range of a projectile motion on inclined plane, not on ground? On ground, it's pretty simple. Nobody forgets that. U square sine 2 theta by g, right? But on inclined plane, whether or not you remember, that's a very important question. So it's important, guys, that you prepare your compendium and be exam ready at any moment. So for example, let's say 10 minutes from now, if I tell you that you have to write a test on electrostatics. Now, can you revise electrostatics? Maybe you have studied electrostatics 1 year back or maybe 6 months back. Ask yourself, can you revise any chapter or any unit, or let's say the whole syllabus within half an hour or 1 hour or even 1 day from your notes or from the book? No. That's going to be a nightmare, guys. That experience will be nightmare. More than model boosting, it would demotivate you. So you need to prepare compendium. Compendium has to be one A4 sheet, one chapter, one A4 sheet, front and back. All your tricks must be in that sheet. All your tricks. You don't have to make it like a drawing notebook, beautiful, multiple colors. No. As long as you can read the compendium and as long as you can recall the tricks by looking at the compendium, we are good enough. So you must prepare the compendium, guys. All your tricks should be in 2 pages. Don't keep it theoretical. Don't like big lines. Use mathematical expressions to shorten your statements. All right. Suppose if I have to write gravitational force between 2 point masses at a separation r is g times product of their masses divided by square of their separation. Now, is it easy to write this statement in 5 lines, or is it just better to show me 2 dot, mention m1, m2, a separation r, and mention below that f is equal to g m1, m2 by r square? Obviously, mathematics is the language of physics. So when it comes to compendium, use maths, use code words. I mean, in simple words, I'm saying use code words. Even if you only understand, it's perfectly okay. But the idea is that when you see the compendium, you must be exam ready, even if I ask you to be exam ready in a very narrow interval of time. That's the objective, guys. So suppose if you have 33 chapters and if you have one A4 sheet for each chapter, still, if I tell you that tomorrow you have to write a full syllabus test, you can be ready and it won't be demotivating, guys. So compendium preparation is very important. Memorizing compendium is again a very important part, guys. You meet great musicians. They know all the songs and all technicalities related to music, but still every morning they will wake up and they will practice. If you ask them, they will tell you we are doing riyaz. I am doing riyaz. It's of utmost importance. In the very same way, guys, compendium preparation, you have to devote a certain share of your study hour for memorizing the compendium. The bottom line is questions coming in NEET and JEE mains are pretty easy, but the only thing is the compendium, the tricks and the formula should be on your tongue. If it is not on your tongue, you are going to do a very pathetic job in the examination, guys. You are going to perform very poorly in time-bound exam constraints, especially in exams like NEET. So compendium preparation is very important, guys. Remember, one sheet for one chapter. And that also chapters like collision or chapters like center of mass. I don't think you need more than half the A4 sheet, to be very honest. Once again, I'm saying you that compendium preparation should not be like a drawing notebook. You have to utilize every single space of the paper. You don't have to make it like drawing notebook. Use 10 different colors, 10 different pens. As long as you can see the paper and you can recall your tricks, you can recall the formula, you can connect with what you have learned in your classes during preparation of that chapter, while the chapter was going on, we are perfectly okay. That's the purpose of compendium, guys. Do it and trust me, especially in exams like NEET and JEE mains, you will find drastic improvement. Drastic improvement. Next comes, guys, exam convergence is an art. Learn this art. Guys, exam convergence is not an easy thing. Exam convergence is a very scientific art, especially when it comes to NEET preparation. You must learn how to converge your output in examination. In my last 12 years of teaching experience, we have seen many good students who are not able to converge their output in the examination. Many good students. I've seen very often we see. I mean, we expect that the student must score more than 680 in NEET. But in every test, they are just landing up with 550, 570, 580. The problem with these students is they are not focusing on exam convergence. They are focusing on learning experience, which is very good. But a part of the learning experience is to converge your output in the examination under exam pressure. So exam convergence is an art. You must learn this art, guys. I'm also going to discuss how you're going to convert your output in the examination. I'm going to discuss in the next question. Next comes strategy for NEET tests and mock exams. Before this, guys, let me just go back. Exam convergence. One thing what I want to tell you. convert your output in examination, you must acquaint yourself with habit of time-bound problem solving. This is of utmost importance, guys. Time-bound problem solving is very much important. See, when you are going through your AIC class, or let's say you're going to some other institute, you must be having your classes over there with a senior teacher. So when your classes, lectures are going on, it's almost like you're playing a test match. The objective of a physics teacher is to expose you with all possible type of questions, all possible concepts, all possible tricks which are relevant to your NEET preparation. They will definitely do that. In fact, they will go one step further. If you're preparing for NEET, they will take one level up. If you're preparing for JEE, they will take further one level up. If you're preparing for advanced, they will definitely go one level even up. The idea is that they don't want you to leave any topic, any concept, any trick, and definitely they want you to expose yourself with all the different kinds of questions that could be asked to you. Now, this is exactly similar to a test match preparation. When you play a test match in cricket, we have something called test match. We have one day international, and we have 2020. So any good cricketer, if you look at their legacy, they have played a good amount of test match cricket. In test match, you have sufficient time. There's no pressure. You have 90 overs in one day. You have 5 days match. You can take your time. You can settle down, and then you can play your game. And you can learn. The idea is that you must learn how to play quality shots, how to identify the balls for which you have to go after, and you must identify the different types of shots under different conditions. So this is that test match. But the bottom line is there is no pressure on you. So your All India competitive examination classes, which is going on in your institute, at Expert or any other place, is very similar to test match. But my dear friends, please remember, your NEET exam or JEE Mains exam is a 2020 match, especially NEET exam, guys. It's a proper 2020 cricket match. You are under time-bound constraint. You have to convert your output, what you have learned, in that time-bound constraint. So keep that in mind, that you have to learn how to solve questions under time-bound environment. So that's why I told you that familiarize yourself, acquaint yourself with time-bound problem solving. Now, question is when to start this. Now I'll tell you when to start this. Suppose, for example, right now you are on, let's say, work for energy. The last chapter that you studied was Newton's laws of motion. Now you have already been through with Newton's laws of motion. Your teacher has completed that. So once that Newton's laws is over, from then till NEET exam, whenever you are solving Newton's laws NLM question, please make sure that you make it time bound. You don't have to solve 50 questions in a day. That's okay. You solve, let's say, 10 questions. Make it time bound. Let's say you're a NEET student, make 10 questions, 12 minutes. If you're a JEE Main student, make 10 questions, 17 minutes. All right. Solve NEET relevant question or JEE Mains relevant question depending upon what is your target exam, but make it time bound. Don't go for a level 3 question. Let's say you are preparing for NEET. Don't target a level 3 question by making it time bound. No. Level 3 question, if you're targeting 180 all in NEET, you must attempt level 3 question, but not under time bound constraint. But level 1 questions, NEET relevant questions, once the module is over, you must familiarize yourself in solving it under time constraint. This is a great practice, and I'm telling you from experience, you will see exponential improvement in your result. You just have to follow 3 things and you will see your exam convergence will improve. 1, compendium. You just don't have to prepare the compendium. You have to devote a lion's share of your study hours in memorizing compendium, in recalling the formulas, so that you are exam ready at every moment. All right. Second thing is familiarize yourself under exam constraint to solve problems, numericals in time-bound environment. Do that at hostel, do that at home, but please make sure that you do it. And third comes what I'm going to discuss now, strategy for NEET as well as NEET AITS, your NEET final exam and NEET AITS. So let me tell you the best exam output methodology. I have been following this for my students. I've asked them to follow for quite a long time, and this strategy works, and it works really nice. First thing first, guys, by now you must have realized that if you don't start your examination with biology, your exam is going to be a disaster. I think by now you must have figured out. If you have written 3 or 4 AITS on NEET, you must have figured out that if you don't start your examination with bio, your exam will be a disaster. So rule number 1, always start your examination with bio. Now, why am I saying this? I'll give you the logic for it. Guys, as I told you earlier, NEET examination is all about handling pressure. How good you are with handling pressure, that's all what what NEET examination is there to test you. All right. Now ask yourself, out of the three subjects, physics, chemistry, biology, which is the subject in which you can handle pressure? Obviously, the answer is biology. So the subject where you can handle the pressure, you must start with that subject. See, when you were in class 10th, when you wrote class 10 board examination, all right, let's say you're writing the examination, it's physics exam or science exam. Now you're writing the science exam, you have 3 years time. Let's say you have 3 years time. So first 2 hours you focus on your handwriting, you wrote beautifully, neatly, and then you realize that okay, 2 hours is done, I'm left with only 1 hour. And you saw the paper, more than 50% paper is pending. Now what did you do? In the last 1 hour, you wrote and you solved as many questions as you did in the first 2 hours. And this is exactly where in hurry, you don't get time for revision and you make silly mistakes. So the good students, they end up losing marks because of silly mistakes. It's because of this particular habit, that they are not pressurizing themselves early, and ultimately, naturally, they come under pressure in the later part of the examination. You must not do that. You must take the pressure right in the start. Now, out of the three subjects, physics, chemistry, biology, it's biology where you can handle the pressure. So you must start the exam with bio. Point number one. Point number two, bio can never ever be a 1 hour paper. Speak with any top NEET biology teacher in India, they will tell you point blank. It's not like I am a physics teacher and I'm commenting about biology. I'm nobody to comment on biology, but I'm commenting after coordinating with senior bio teachers. Bio paper cannot be 1 hour. If you consider your bio paper as 1 hour, your exam is bound to be a disaster, guys. Your exam will be a disaster. You have to time it within 36 to 42 minutes. Now, it may look very strange that, sir, there are 100 questions, 50 in botany, 50 in zoology. I have to answer 90 of those 100 questions. How can I do it in just 36 to 42 minutes? Guys, you have to do it. You ask your NEET toppers, they are doing it. Some learn it by falling down, some learn it with experience, and some learn with the help of teachers like us, warning them right in the start. I'm warning you that you have to develop the art of solving your bio paper within 36 to 42 minutes. If you don't do that, your exam will be a disaster. Now, I'm not saying that you start from today and you'll achieve success from today itself. No. You start from today. Our human body, our human mind is highly trainable. So if you start and you start optimizing your time to complete your NEET bio section within 36 to 42 minutes, pretty soon, within 5 to 6 tests, maybe in 2-3 months, you will be able to time up your bio paper in 36 to 42 minutes. So A, start your paper with bio. B, make sure bio is not 1 hour. It must be done within 36 to 42 minutes. 42 minutes, 40 minutes is fine for average students. For students who are already scoring more than 600, you have to come up with 36 minutes completion of bio paper. That's your timeline. Now, guys, don't forget you have saved 20 to 24 minutes in bio. We'll discuss how to utilize it later. Then comes chemistry. Chemistry will be a full 1 hour paper, guys. Full 1 hour. No compromise in chemistry. Full 1 hour you have to dedicate to chemistry. Now, one thing what I want to tell you. When it comes to physical chemistry questions, there must be a calculation strategy that you should have. Calculation strategy is very important. Whatever last test you gave, suppose if I ask you, show me the question paper or show me the sheet where you did the, where you did the calculation part. If I look at your question paper, generally you solve in the question paper itself. So if I look at your space in the question paper, you have simply scribbled around. Wherever you got the space, you simply scribbled around. That's not the correct way, guys. Let's say you attempt a question of physical chemistry and you are not successful with that question. Generally, physical chemistry, you'll see the students will tell you that, sir, question was easy, but it was a calculation which was notorious. Majority of the students will tell you that. I'm not saying with every question of physical chemistry, but with majority question of physical chemistry, the numerical solving the calculations are notorious. It's decimal calculation, fractional calculation, and it becomes notorious. So my point is that let's say you attempt a question now and you were not successful. Later, when you revise, at least you can pick up the calculations if you have a calculation strategy. So what you do is when you are solving the question, let's say you make a tiny space in your paper. You don't have luxury of space, make a tiny space. Let's say it's question number 25. Mention question number 25. Now do your calculation there. You may fail in that question. Fine. Next time when you are revising that question, all right, let's say at the end you are revising that question, you are re-attempting that question, at least you can pick up the calculations now. Think how much time will be saved. almost 35 to 40% question is coming from physical chemistry. 30 to 40% definitely. Almost one third question. And out of these one third question, let's say you fail with 20-25% questions in one go. One third physical, of that one third, 25% I'm saying. So when you are re-attempting, at least you can pick up the calculations, so that will save quite a long time while you are re-attempting those questions. Now let's come to physics, guys. Physics, you should never consider as a 50 question paper. Now we have 50 questions, you have to answer 45. Never consider 50 questions as your target in physics section. You tell yourself that this is a 50 question paper, but I have to answer only 30. It's very similar to what Rancho used to say in 3 Idiots: all is well, all is well, all is well. It's like you have to calm your nerves the moment you enter your physics exam. When you enter the physics section, you have to calm yourself. All right. Now, I'm not asking you to say the same thing, all is well, 1,000 times. But what I'm saying is that you say a very similar analogy that this is not a 50 question paper. Tell it 3 times. This is not a 50 question paper. This is not a 50 question paper. This is not a 50 question paper. This is a 30 question paper. And I have 1 hour. 2 minutes per question. Attempt only 30 questions in this 1 hour. And you have 50 questions choice. Attempt 30. Don't forget, out of these 50 questions, there are 16 to 20 questions from NCERT. So if you have prepared NCERT, you know how to answer those questions. Don't forget, there are 12 to 18 questions from NEET past year questions. If you have been thorough with NEET PYQ, you can answer those questions. Under exam constraint, identifying these NCERT questions and NEET PYQ will not be easy. So you have to calm yourself. So go after 30 questions first. Secure 120 marks in physics first. Secure 120 marks first. So 120, once you have secured in 1 hour, 2 minutes per question, out of 50 questions, you have choice. So mind will automatically become calm. The moment you are given choice, your mind becomes calm, right? So 30 questions, once you have nailed, you have got 120 marks. Now come back to those 24 minutes that you saved in bio. Remember, you have already saved 24 minutes in bio. 36 to 40 minutes you completed. You have saved 20 minutes roughly. In that 20 minutes, try to solve at least 5 to 7 more questions of physics. At least 5 to 7. You will have roughly 3 to 4 minutes per question. So you have 20 questions remaining. 50 questions, 30 you have already solved. 20 is remaining. Just try to solve 5 to 7 more questions. And this will be your second attempt. There's a huge chance that you will identify those 5 to 7 questions which you can solve. And you might be able to solve them because you have 3 to 4 minutes per question. I hope you follow my point, guys. So this will be your strategy for NEET test. Keep that in mind, guys, right? So I'll just summarize it. Bio, you have to start the exam with bio, else your exam will be a disaster. Bio can't be a 1 hour paper. It must be 36 to 42 minutes. You have to time it. I'm not saying this is possible right from today. But if you start from today, if you start aiming at completing your bio paper in 36 to 42 minutes from today, within 3 to 4 months, you'll achieve it. Next, you must have a calculation strategy for chemistry. It's very important so that you can pick up the calculations while revisiting a question of physical chemistry which you failed at the first attempt. Then comes physics, 1 full hour for physics, 50 questions, answer 30 questions. Find out those questions of NCERT and NEET PYQ which you can solve, answer those questions. Secure 120 marks, then whatever time you saved in bio, try to solve 5 to 7 more questions in those 20-24 minutes that you have saved. That's how you can secure a very good rank in NEET. And I'm referring this strategy mainly from the perspective of average to moderate students. All right. Those who are already scoring 170 all in NEET physics, they're doing good. They're doing a terrific job. But I'm talking about someone who is struggling with 50-60 marks in physics NEET. If you can land up with 120, 140 plus in physics, you have a very good chance to get a good rank in NEET. So this is your exam strategy, guys. So compendium preparation plus this NEET strategy, plus along with that, if you follow exam convergence, that means time-bound problem solving at hostel, back at home, that would really optimize your performance in the exam. Next up, guys, bio is a top-notch preparation for NEET and chemistry is a rank deciding factor for JEE. There is absolutely no doubt in that. Bio is a top-notch preparation. It's a must, guys. See, in 2021, we had 16 lakh students, almost 16 lakh students appearing for NEET. Out of the 16 lakh, you'll be surprised to know more than 2,90,000 students have got 300 plus in bio. More than 2.9 lakhs. It's almost 20% of the students have got 300 plus in bio. So if you're scoring 300 in bio and you're thinking that you have achieved something remarkable, no. I'm sorry to tell you, there are almost lakhs of 3 lakh students who are scoring 300 plus. So bio must be a top-notch preparation. You have to aim 340 plus in bio, or at least 320. You have to aim, you have to target 340 plus. That should be your standard of preparation. Else, your preparation, your NEET exam will end even before it has started. Even with the right strategy, you will fail in NEET exam if your bio preparation is not of top-notch standard. So it must be top-notch. For JEE, chemistry is a rank deciding factor, guys. This is of utmost important. Keep that in mind. Chemistry is a very important rank deciding factor. At Expert, last year itself, we had a student. His name is Amok. He got 100 percentile in physics. He got 100 percentile in mathematics. Somehow, he couldn't land up with 100 percentile in chemistry. He missed chemistry by a significant percentile. I think around 0.3 percentile. He missed chemistry. All right. Now, although scoring 100 percentile in physics and maths, 2 out of 3 subjects, finally his rank was close to 300. I think it was 318, or maybe I think it's 298 already a rank in JEE mains. So chemistry is the rank deciding factor there. Just saying that had he given sufficient time for chemistry preparation, and let's say along with physics and maths, if he had got 100 percentile in chemistry too, there's a huge probability he would have come up with AIR 1, isn't it? So keep that in mind, guys. Chemistry is a very important rank deciding factor for JEE and bio. A top-notch performance is needed for your NEET preparation. Guys, last thing, stay positive, stay motivated, and keep on accelerating. All right. Most of the students I have seen, they keep on complaining that, sir, I've got only 400 marks in this test. I've got 390 in this test. How will I come up with NEET exam? See, it's not about jumping from 400 to 600. It will never happen overnight. All that you have to do is that in every subject, don't let your marks fall down, especially in physics. And overall, your marks should never fall down. Let's say in the last test, you have got 400, aim for 410 in the next test. Last test in physics, you have got 60, aim for 70. That's perfectly okay. Take small baby steps. Even if you improve 5-10 marks every test, by the time you reach your competitive examination, you will be pretty much good enough, guys. You will be scoring decently well. So keep on accelerating. Initial velocity is not important in life. Acceleration is important. Even in NEET and JEE preparation, your initial velocity is not important. You are very aggressive, very thorough with P01, P02. But after that, you are decelerating. Your performance is decelerating. Guys, you will be nowhere in the final examination. Initial velocity, even if it is negative, but if your acceleration is positive, you will reach your destination. So don't be worried that how do I jump from 300 to 600? No, that's never going to happen overnight. Think, strategize. That last test I gave, I got 300. Now next test, how can I improve 20 marks? Just think about that. After every test, just ask yourself that in the next test, is there room to improve 20 marks? I'm sure you can definitely find out room to improve 20 marks. Then again in the further text, ask yourself that how is there a room to score 50 marks more? And that's how you keep on accelerating, guys. So stay positive, stay motivated, and keep on accelerating.